Yo, what is going on, guys? Good call here. Welcome back to another video, and today we're doing episode 2 of Tinker's Craft. Welcome back if you guys watched episode 1 already. We're gonna be getting into how to make a smeltery. Yep, we're pretty much almost there actually, and we're gonna be getting into like the basics of crafting materials. But if you haven't checked out episode 1, I strongly recommend you to go check that out. That episode was basically the basics for Tinker's Construct. So if you don't know what the series is about, it's basically me trying to beat all the bosses, but with a Tinker's Craft mod. So it might be a little bit easier, a little bit harder, you know, depending on other factors. But yeah, if you guys enjoy this series or enjoy this episode, make sure to leave a like. If we can hit 10 likes, that'd be freaking amazing. You guys already know the daily upload grind is freaking starting for me finally. I know. And yeah, let's get into this video. Oh, quick note, by the way, I got recommended to turn down my FOV, so that's what I did. I was at Quake Pro, but now I am at 80 FOV. So it should be a little bit better. If that's too much still, definitely let me know and I'll turn it down a little bit more. But yeah, let's get into it. So last episode we left off with grout and making seared brick. So seared brick is basically the building blocks needed to make a smeltery. So there's different types of seared bricks, and basically they're just decorations for the basic seared brick. Which we don't really need right now because we're just getting started. So I think first I'm gonna need to expand my living space, because as you can see, this is not gonna do it for a smeltery, because the smeltery is 3x3. So it's gonna take a bit of room. So let me just excavate this out really quick and I'll be right back. Alrighty, and we're back. So as I said, you are going to need a little bit of room because a smeltery is 3x3. So I actually, instead of coming up here, as you can see, there's not a lot of space for expansion, because this wall right here actually leads to the outside. So I actually dug down a little bit to make this really big space that I can always just expand. So yeah, and what you need to make seared bricks is obviously seared brick, but the formula is going to be this: 4 seared brick and basically a square. So let me just move all those items and then let me go like that. So I got 11 seared brick. That's obviously not going to be enough, so I'm going to eventually need to go out and grab more gravel. If you guys don't know how to make grout to make seared bricks, check out my last video. I explained pretty much all the basics and everything in there. But so this is basically the floor of the smeltery, and then there's gonna be this back wall, this side wall that's a 3x3, this other side wall 3x3, and this front panel that's a 3x3. But the height doesn't necessarily need to be 3. It could be 1 or 2, but 3 adds more space to basically put more to basically let it hold more basically more ores in there. So yeah, so let me place this here. And for building this smeltery, you obviously don't need the corners. You could just do 3 in a row, 3 in a row, 3 in a row, and 3 in the back. And that's pretty much your smeltery. But you are going to need some other items to actually make it function before turning it on and whatnot. So I'm gonna come over here and get some gravel really quick, do the boring stuff, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, I got a stack of gravel. Hopefully that is enough. In all seriousness, it probably isn't. I think in total one would need maybe 3 stacks of seared brick to complete the smeltery in a whole. But we'll see where this gravel takes me. But yeah. Alrighty, that got me 2 stacks of grout. So I'm gonna get this smelting immediately, and it is gonna take a while, so I'm gonna make another furnace, and I'll be back when this finishes cooking. So yeah. Oh my god, boys. Oh my god, boys. Alright, so we hit a roadblock. So we had enough coal for this amount of seared bricks, but then I was gonna come out here to like make charcoal out of wood since it's daytime, and there's one skeleton. Where's the other one? Oh god, there's two skeletons and then the third one above me, I believe. And so that's what feels bad. I think I'm just gonna YOLO this. Alright. Oh my god, I'm dead. Literally dead. How am I alive? Literally, how am I alive? Literally, how am I alive? What do you mean, brother? What do you mean? Okay, I'm gonna get this wood, and then I'm gonna try and go back to my base. Hopefully I don't get ransacked. And by the way, I don't think I'm anywhere near spawn, so that feels bad. Okay, let me just coordinates really quick. Just in case, because I'm not trying to die and then forget where my stuff is and lose pretty much all my progress. So yeah. Oh my god. What do you mean, brother? Get out of here. Probably make an axe, but I don't even care, dude. I don't even care. Anyway, hopefully we don't hit any more roadblocks, and then I'll talk to you guys when I'm almost done with the smeltery. Alright, I just did the calculations. So it turns out you're gonna need to have at least around 2.5 stacks of seared brick to make the smeltery. So yeah, just letting you guys know. Alrighty, so we're almost done with our smeltery. So as you can see, if you have just enough items or too many items mod or whatever this mod's called, I forgot. It should be somewhere in first episode I mentioned it. But if you look over here and search up seared, it shows you all the blocks that are seared, right? Like seared bricked, or whatever. So what you're actually gonna need for the smeltery is gonna be a seared tank and a seared furnace controller. So those are like necessities to run those are necessities to run the smeltery. And obviously lava for the seared tank, at least a little bit of lava, or one bucket and whatnot. And the rest are kind of decorations. So these fancy blocks are all decorated just to make it look cool. There's also a seared window that makes you look inside the smeltery, which looks pretty nice. So I think so these two say retain liquid when broken. So the seared window and the seared gauge, they both hold liquid. So if you pour molten iron, let's say, into a bucket, you can actually deposit that into these kind of tanks, if you will, which is really cool. But this seared glass cannot store liquid, so this is simply just to look inside the smeltery for decoration. So I think I'm going to use some of that. Here are the recipes for the seared glass, just the regular glass. So you are going to need like any colored glass or regular glass, and seared brick. And then the gauges, the gauge and the window shouldn't be too different. A lot of glass and glass up the middle. So those are all the recipes for the glass. Here's a recipe for the seared tank. So you are going to need glass. And then I actually lied. You aren't going to need the furnace controller. You're actually going to need the smeltery controller. That is what you're going to need. It's a way more simple formula for the Smeltery controller, and this is actually what you're gonna need for the Smeltery. And you're also gonna need a Smeltery drain. And with the drain, you also need to have the faucet. So it is a good amount, and then you can have a casting basin which makes blocks when you drain it out, and a casting table which makes like ingots and whatnot. So it is a lot, but when you're done with it, it's totally worth it. As for where the Smeltery drain and where the Smeltery controller and the Smeltery tank goes, it doesn't really matter which side you put it on, as long as you're putting it on the outside and not in here or anything. And the drain, you want to make it facing outward, but the drains, you want them on the bottom. You can't put them on the top or in the middle or anything, because it won't drain. So you always want them on the bottom, but it doesn't matter what side. Alright, so I got one Smeltery drain. I'm going to place it on the bottom right here. And then on top of the Smeltery drain, you want to put the faucet. So you just right click and it places like that. And then here would go either your casting basin or your casting table. Alright guys, so let me know if this looks like yours, because if it does, then you did a good job. Nice job. I mean, relatively like yours. You can always just put the Smeltery somewhere else in the front, side, back if you want, other side. And these fluids, or these drains, have to be on the bottom, but they could go on whichever side as well. So roughly it should look like this. And if you did assemble it correctly, obviously there doesn't need to be seared bricks on the roof, but if you did assemble it correctly, then the last block that you place will make this light up, so it will look like an actual furnace. And this is where you put all your ores and whatnot, and this is your fuel. So this is where you put in lava right here. I think you just right click in the seared tank and it places lava, and then it'll appear right here. So it'll say like 1 bucket, 2 bucket. I think max is 4 bucket. And then depending on how high your Smeltery is, there should be a different amount of capacity. Alright, so obviously it doesn't need to be a 3x3, and it doesn't need to be 3 tall, but it could be all the way up to an 11x11. So the minimum height should be 2 or higher, and then it should be like the basic is 3x3. But if you have like a lot of resources, then you can obviously make it an 11x11 and have an insane amount of capacity. But that's like one of the reasons why this book is really handy, because it tells you things that you may not know. And look how many seared tanks you could have. Like the possibilities are endless, and you can replace some of these blocks with seared glass. You can put the corners with actual blocks if you want, or tanks, or the gauges, the seared gauge or seared windows to hold liquids. I think eventually that's what I'm gonna do. But yeah, it should look like this. Mine is currently not working because I have no fuel, and I don't think I'm gonna find lava anytime soon here. But that is basically how you build the Smeltery. So obviously the Smeltery controller, the seared tank, the seared drains, the seared faucets, or not the seared, I think it's just faucets that they're called, the seared bricks all around, and then, oh, I forgot something. Alright, and I did forget 2 things. So obviously the casting table and the casting basin, so you can get blocks out of this and then make a ingot cast. I'll show you guys how to do that next time. The next episode, I'm gonna show you guys how to use the Smeltery and what it's used for and how useful it really is. But for now, I thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys can leave a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. This video took me quite a long time because I had to get all the grout, so a like rating would be very appreciated. And yeah guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.
I've been working hard, I've been searching for God. I've been working hard, I've been searching for God.
Please leave a message after the tone.
Little brother, this is your sister, you're busy, I get you, but I insist you call me back cause I miss you. I wish you well, I wish you would call, cause lately you feel like I'm just not your sister at all.